Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, crazy things have been found out. Our buddy from Truegamedata, Anthony, figured out that the Modern Warfare guns have different damage profiles in Modern Warfare and Warzone. By now, we actually thought that the damage profiles, range, and everything of the guns are exactly the same in the multiplayer and the Warzone. But extensive testing has shown that is not the fact. And that is extremely interesting because the damage falls and everything allow us then to build our guns even more different, which plays a huge role after the DMR 14 and Type 63 nerf. And I'll be presenting you his findings there now. His original video can be found on his website, truegamedata.com. There's the video with all the data in. I'll be presenting this to you in a different way, and I'm also going to be talking about how that will influence then your gun building. What he essentially figured out is that the guns have different damage drop-off points. So this here, for example, is the standard AMAX versus the actual Warzone AMAX. You ever ask yourself why the AMAX feels so insane? Well, it's very simple. Because the damage fall off of the Warzone AMAX is actually not the one of the multiplayer AMAX. Now let's look at the multiplayer AMAX in orange. Starts here, good time to kill, like we have down here, the amazing time to kill, 476 milliseconds. And then you have the first fall off, second fall off, third fall off. That's what we actually thought would be, where I was always saying, hey guys, the AMAX is only good up to 40 meters, then kind of it's crazy. But realistically, the AMAX actually stops having a damage fall off after 57 meters. And then it just goes. And that's exactly why the AMAX is actually as insane as it is. Has one of the best time to kills. I mean, if we compare this now, for example, with a recent rifle, let's say the Grau. The Grau also different values in the Warzone and the Modern Warfare. But still, like look at the Grau in comparison, even with the new values versus the AMAX. That's the standard Grau time to kill. Obviously, the Grau used to hit every single bullet, but that is also the Grau's time fall off kill. That is always what it's been. Actually, there was more steps in between. But now, if you look at the Grau compared to the AMAX, you kind of know why the AMAX felt so broken always, and it was like AMAX zone. Because there was literally nothing that actually stopped it on any range. Every gun has like a worse time to kill than the AMAX on every distance. Obviously, the AMAX does not hit every single bullet on 100 meters. Sure, because, well, the gun has quite some recoil. Well, if you're not using Chronos Max and other shenanigans, then the gun is actually quite crazy. And these findings go for every single gun. We have green, the RAM 7 Warzone, and blue, the RAM 7 multiplayer. And as you can see, we have a decent time to kill down here. Then we have one fall off, and then it just straight goes through. Obviously, 700 milliseconds time to kill, so definitely worse than the AMAX Warzone. There's no question about that. But I would argue that the RAM 7 is actually able to hit more bullets as soon as you know how to control it, and I really do like the insane fire rate. But realistically speaking now, we can actually look that we do not need to increase the range all too much on our rifles anymore, because we know that after that one fall off, this is like kind of the TTK you can deal with. Obviously, if you build a close quarter combat version, like as a sniper support version, you could look at this, but technically the first step can be completely ignored, because this is where you want to beam the gun on like 40, 60, 80, 100 meters too, and you know that the time to kill is exactly the same. So increasing the range actually might not be needed, considering that people have always been saying, man, the monolithic suppressor increases my damage range and my bullet velocity. But realistically speaking, the damage range increase of the monolithic suppressor has always been extremely low percentages. And now if we look at the damage fall off there, that there's only one damage fall off, it makes, for me personally, even less sense to actually use a monolithic suppressor apart from staying off the map. But realistically, the compensator gets put in the light of an even better attachment. Sure, like you still, when it comes down to the barrels, we're looking for bullet velocity. So you want to always get like 1,000 bullet velocity roughly out of your guns, because else you're going to feel like your shots are lacking behind the target. But considering that with certain barrels, on the RAM 7, for example, we have the Ranger barrel, which gives us plus 62%. So we're at a standard bullet velocity now of 720 milliseconds. And we have the Forge Tech Eclipse, which gives us plus 30%. So that would be almost the 1,000 here. So technically the Forge Tech Eclipse would be enough, because the range buff again does not matter in that regard. We could obviously put on the Ranger because of the recoil control, but then we're at the 1,200 already. That's it. Like more range, like the 37% range, that's cool, sure. So we move our first time to kill point from these 24 meters up, but our second time to kill point is fantastic. Like we're really good. We could just maximize out now hitting our bullets, for example, with the compensator, because you want to be trying to actually hit most bullets possible to then achieve the second time to kill point too. Obviously, the first time to kill point when you're relatively close to a target, but obviously we're mostly playing with our either candid hybrid or VLK optic on the Modern Warfare guns. But yeah, you don't want to max this out anymore as much as you always felt like that you really need to go for the monolithic suppressor. Obviously, as you learn that you can play the Cold War guns also without the monolithic suppressor, maybe learn that you don't actually have to be suppressed all the time. A huge shout out for Anthony from Truegamedata for actually testing this, because it's quite crazy that we have been like playing now for over a year and we've just assumed that the damage profiles are exactly the ones from multiplayer. They integrate the other multiplayer game, the Cold War game, and it turns out, well, the Cold War stats are not from the Cold War guns, so they're different too. And that led to probably testing then, are the Modern Warfare guns actually what they are? Or did they lie to us, and are they different? We already had hidden stats on the gun, but now we know that realistically all the guns are also feeling different, and it might explain to you why certain guns actually feel so good. If you want to test this out yourself for your favorite gun, you can go on the site truegamedata.com, go for example for ARs, and you can see here he's already tested for the AN94, AMAX, FAL, Grau, M4, RAM7. The LMGs also have different profiles that you can see down here, so every gun that has the Warzone behind it has already been thoroughly tested, and you can kind of see what different damage profiles compared to the Modern Warfare they have. High recommendation to kind of revise your gun builds with this. As I said, for example, for the RAM, I've always played it different. I've been actually playing with the Forge Tech Eclipse because I felt like that 1000 bullet velocity is enough, but you can technically go for the Ranger barrel. I did not feel the need to be suppressed, so I put on the compensator, which also gives you a better ADS time. Then I wanted the aiming stability from the Commando foregrip, or you actually swapped it around and went for the muzzle brake and put on a Ranger foregrip in this regard. So this is like personal preference for you, however you play better with the gun. So either it's Ranger and muzzle brake or compensator and Commando foregrip. Then you can put on a candid hybrid, which helps you even more to keep the gun on track. And last but not least, the 50 round mag. So you actually did not need the monolithic suppressor. You could make the gun a better laser, which I already did before because I felt it's better. But now I have the stats and the data to actually know why it's better and why it feels better. The same kind of goes out to the AMAX. I mean, as we've seen on the AMAX, you want to reach the 1000 bullet velocity. Obviously for the AMAX, there's not that many different build options. But with the Zodiac barrel, you're already at 1000 bullet velocity. So your time to kill is 600 milliseconds on any distance. Yes, you have the short time to kill if someone is really close to you. That's fantastic. But you have this crazy time to kill on any distance. So why not make the gun hit every single shot? Because that's the realistic question. You can make the gun hit every single shot better with a compensator to make it more manageable for everyone. You can play with the VLK optic. You can also try out the candid hybrid, which is fantastic on it too. You can play the 45 round mag, or you can add even more aiming stability with the tag laser or the gatekeeper stock. And you have a fantastic gun that hits more bullets than ever hit before. Obviously, you will ping up on the map, but if you learn with Cold War, that is actually not that much of a problem. So you can start building your guns different now based on even more data, stats, and facts that you have. And that is, for me, absolutely fantastic. And I think that changes the whole meta game again, but obviously only as soon as we get the nerf. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you found this video extremely interesting. Our buddy Truegamedata is doing God's work out there, testing all these things and doing all this stuff. And yes, other creators like me do use his data for things. We do our own testing too, but I have to say that Truegamedata helps me a lot to actually do my videos, and I'm extremely thankful for him. So definitely go over on his YouTube, drop him a follow, check out the website. It's really helpful. He's a good lad, and he's really doing some nice work with this website. It helps us a lot. We can base our guns then actually on not only make-believes. I mean, there are a lot of creators here, sorry, they're like, hey, just slap on these attachments, and they're like, why? They're completely, your build is wrong. It makes no sense. Your actually barrel increases hipfire by 40%. Did you know that? No, you didn't, because you didn't check the stats. Freaks me out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching so much. Thank you for supporting so much. Drop a like over on that video that Anthony recorded too. Different attempts in both videos here, trying to help you also to improve your gun builds over time. Will be a section 2 to then revise everything we have done with the gun builds. I do think most of our gun builds are actually on point straight away, because despite not knowing these facts, we already optimized our guns on recoil and bullet velocity before to get the perfect balance. So this data should actually align perfectly with our builds that we have made before, but now we can even verify that harder. I wish you a fantastic good time. Thanks for supporting this channel so much. Don't forget to check out the second YouTube channel, Show Pony of Place, with a variety of content, putting so much effort into the content there. Give our editors some thumbs up. on that. And also see you soon in Verdansk with more Modern Warfare and Cold War guns to come.